Lonnie Payne with another pinball video. If you're ready, let's go.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use EL wire to add the proton beams to your Ghostbusters pinball machine. I have a premium, so that's what we're going to be using today. In another video, I showed you how to install UV lighting. These proton beams work on the same wiring. I will go through that. If you've already watched that video on the UV lighting, you can go ahead and just skip that part and get right to how they're installed. And if you haven't seen that, there's another video out there showing you how to hook up some UV lighting to your Ghostbusters that I think looks pretty cool. When you add these two together, I think it has a really neat effect. And with the lights going out when these proton beams come on, they really pop. So I think you'll enjoy it. If you're ready, let's go do it. All right, before I show you the wiring in the cabinet, I'm just going to try and explain how this thing works. The brains of this is a little relay, which I'll show you here in a little bit. I'll show you a picture up here. And what this relay does is it decides if power can either go through it or not. The relay I'm using is a 6-volt AC relay because a general illumination uses 6-volt AC. So that's the control voltage. The relay that I'm using is a normally closed relay. So when there's no power on it, it allows electricity to go through it. And so, like I said, AC controls it, but the voltage that's going to go through it is the 12-volt DC that we're taking from that power board in the back box. That's why when you power on the machine, the general illumination is not on, so it's allowing that power to go through and those UV lights come on. As soon as that general illumination turns on, it powers that relay, it opens up and stops that voltage from going through, so the lights turn off. So the way this thing is hooked up is you have two AC wires coming in that are tapped off that general illumination going into this block that this relay is hooked onto, and that's going to control it. And then you have the ground wire coming in from the 12-volt DC on one side and coming out on the other side. Like I said, when it's powered, those things open, doesn't allow electricity through. When the AC goes off, that relay normally goes to its closed state and that power transfers through. I just wanted to kind of give you the generics of how it works because the wires in there are not quite as neat as they should be. So let's go to the machine and I'll show you where all the wires are, and hopefully this little explanation makes it a little easier to understand. All right, now this is the same wiring as a UV light, so if you've already seen this, you can skip this. But I'm using this row of general illumination to trigger it. And so here was the original plug, so I just made a splice plug. So you got the blue and white wires, they're going to this relay, and they're the power that turns that relay on and off. And remember, when the power is off, it lets the 12-volt DC through. When the power is on, it opens that relay and doesn't allow that 12-volt DC through. So when there's power to these AC lines, it activates the relay and opens it up. So you got the orange wires coming down from the CN6 12-volt connector in the back box. So the orange is coming into this plug, and then it's actually splicing off. One's going to the UV lights, but in this case, the yellow is taking the power to the front for those proton packs. And then the dark wire is going to the relay. And then the other side comes out, and that dark wire actually is brown on this one. And so the yellow and brown go up to the front and power these proton beams. And just remember, if you don't want to put the relay in, you can just take your 12-volt wires, run them right to the front, and the protons can be on all the time. Your choice. All right, so the power for the EL wire that makes up the proton pack, we talked about the brown and white wire coming from the front, so it comes in. These plugs actually go to trough lighting, which I talked about in a different video for UV, but then the wires come down here, and that powers the little power pack that's right here. And actually it sits perfectly in the channel of this support, so it's got double-sided tape, so it sits right there. All right, so power comes out of the transformer, comes into the little light generator, and then this light generator actually has a splice in it and takes to the left side and then over to the right side and carries them on top of the playfield and out. Okay, originally the proton packs were supposed to come out of here, and there's a little black plug in there. And let's go over and take a look at what that looked like originally. All right, these were the two original pieces that were in the game. So you just got this solid black plug that has a screw or a bolt hole in the center. And then it went through, and this mounted on top of it. And since I was going to put some holes in there, I decided to keep that original and just put them aside. So if I ever want to put the game back to the way it was, I'm not damaging anything. So what I did was I actually printed a new piece. So this is basically the same piece, but it has, you can see it has two little holes in it. And then I actually made a piece of new Lexan and I drilled two holes in it. And so this piece fits exactly where this piece was. And now we can go over and look at what that looks like. All right, so we have two EL wires, and they go right up through those two little holes that are in the new piece. And then here's your bolt hole that the original was held in on. And so now you can see the black piece, and then here's the plastic piece with two holes in it. So both the EL wires come straight up through the black plastic and then through the new piece of Lexan, and then go out through the game. And you can actually route those however you want. That's just how I route them, but that's it. I mean, it's not real difficult. And what you can do is if you don't have access to a 3D printer, you can actually just drill two little holes in here and two little holes in here, and you're just fine. I actually may be able to make these for sale. I mean, they're pretty easy to print, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just put some holes in yours. If you end up changing it out, no one's going to see those holes anyway. Just on a side note, this is one of the little brackets that was used to keep the balls from getting stuck. It looks like they just sent somebody down to Lowe's to pick up some L brackets. It just looks hideous, I think. So what I did was I kind of designed my own with a hole in one side, a solid in the other with a rounded top, and then I've got them actually printed in both purple and green, and I've actually got a new one printed that's fluorescent green, so it should glow like that one. But I just thought these looked mechanical. I just didn't think they looked aesthetic at all, so I wanted to fix that. So that's just something I also put together. All right, now that I got everything hooked up, I'm going to do a GI test. And so what we're going to do is we're going to test this back row that the UV lights are hooked to, and you can actually hear the relay clicking because I've got the glass off and the coin door open. So that's how it works. Now remember, if you don't want the relay in there and you just want them on all the time, you can skip all of that relay and take the 12 volts directly from the CN6 and just hook your lights up, and they'll be on anytime the power's on. All right, now we're going to play a game or two, and we're going to show you some of the features on how this thing works.
Welcome aboard, Tex.
Anyways,
Congratulations.
well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the effect. I think it's pretty neat. It just really adds another element to the game. And if you haven't looked at the other video on the UV lighting, be sure to catch that, because I think these two together make a pretty good combination. Down below I listed the links on where to get everything, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.